And there we go. We are live with our Wednesday writing sprints with your hosts, myself and Abby Matthews. Hello to everybody, and thank you for joining us. And I want to pick Abby's brain about something. I was just telling her this before we went live. But before we do that, two housekeeping things I want to cover. First, you see our fun little graphic up here. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please go ahead and do that. It really helps us out, really justifies us being here beyond having to spend or not getting to spend some awesome time with all of you. Second thing is that, of course, I want to say hi to everyone. So hi to B and Renee and Aaron and Shelly and NJ and Les and Reed and Iva and I think and Emily's there. There we go. Okay, and I'm sure someone else will pop up and I'll say hi then. But yeah, Abby, how you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Excellent.
I'm here. Mom is okay, like Melina. That's how I feel today. Mom is okay.
Excellent. So, Abby, you are writing, you pivoted hard with your co-author, Jeff, and you're writing Gothic comedy, right? That's the subgenre name. How do you feel about that? Both like excitement and reservations, if there are any. How are you feeling about this big genre switch?
I still feel like it's not going to be creepy enough. Like, only because if I know Jeff and we will lean hard into the humor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm afraid the horror piece will go by the wayside, which I'm probably kind of okay with because at that point it's just like a supernatural mystery.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's like ruining the story or anything. But Jeff kept saying last night, we got to find a way to make this really scary. And I'm like, I know, I'm trying to think of one.
Well, I have no advice for writing Gothic comedy because that is a subgenre that I am not super familiar with beyond like the movies you listed, right? Like Beetlejuice and whatnot. I don't know. Like Cabin in the Woods is horror comedy, but I don't think it counts as Gothic comedy. And like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, another horror comedy. So like I don't know. Maybe I'll do some research in my spare time to help you out to see if there's any horror advice I can lend you.
Like, how do you layer it in?
Yeah.
Like, and I think when you said the other day, sometimes it's just more about like the suspense.
Yeah.
And not so much like there's no jump scares. It's not a movie, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and then I think back. So, like, I watched Beetlejuice. It came out when I was a kid, and it kind of scared the crap out of me. And if I'm honest, the part that scared the crap out of me probably the most was the ending scene where he's sitting in the waiting room next to the guy that has the really little shrunken head. It was stuff like that that just it unsettled me, I think, more than scared me.
And
so I think
what we aim for.
Burbs level is what I'm looking for. Because like the Burbs with Tom Hanks, that did have like, I mean, that was funny as hell, but it also it had that little bit of like, oh God, don't go next door. Oh my God, don't go next door, you know. So
I want to say a quick hello to Ginger and Susan as well. Reed saying name suggestions like Jovius Flabby Bottom don't lend itself well towards horror. Kara, I'm sad that you're in a rubbish mood, but I'm glad you are here with us to get some work in. Hopefully that can get you out of the funk. And NJ's asking how I got Hank's mic, which is fantastic. I have been working hard on recording a lot of content. So the headset mic, more comfortable. This better for, there's not a hair on it, better for recording videos. All right, we got 40 seconds here. I'm going to share the link once more in the chat. Boom, there it goes. But all three links are below us if you're joining us on YouTube. If you're joining us on Facebook, then it's in the chat there for you now, and you can link to the next sprints within the sprint itself in the top left. I guess it's too late for me to ask everyone what they are working on today, but let me know afterwards once we celebrate our successes. Let me know what you're working on. And yeah, I guess I'll pop my screen up. We got 10 seconds. Abby, are you hanging around with us or are you taking off?
No, I'm going to go do a workbook. So,
all right.
Peace, everybody. Have fun.
Bye, everyone. Alrighty. That is our first sprint done. How did everybody do? I hope that was a fantastic one. I forgot to say at the beginning, as per usual, we are doing 3 20-minute sprints with a 5-minute break in between. So that was our first one. And here's our first 5-minute break. And here is the link to the next one. Kara saying, I love Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Hilarious film. It was so well done. And most horror movies don't scare me because I write horror. However, there was an episode of the original Star Trek that scared you. Still won't watch in the dark now, even though you're 60. There was a time when I was younger when I watched Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, and it gave me nightmares for days. And I only recently found the strength to rewatch that movie because my wife was on a Scooby-Doo kick. So we watched The Witch's Ghost, Zombie Island, some other ones. I think it was The Witch's Ghost that had Hex Girls in it, and now I have the Hex Girls song stuck in my head. Erica, thank you for joining us. I'm excited that you can join us for this next sprint here. Let's see what we got going on with our successes. Shelly got 497. Awesome. Aaron, 74 words and 1 page of the nano draft edited. How much more do you have in that, Aaron? Kyla, welcome. Hello. 362 words. Reed got 592 despite an ill-timed lunch delivery. Yeah, that can get in the way. 206 for B. 347 plus some research for Emily. 166 for David, who came in late but still got some words written. Love it. Last got 440. Renee got some research and is actually going to write, but research is still very important, right? Don't get me wrong. What else do we have here? Melina got 337, and it's so clunky, but you wrote, and I want you to focus on that one, and I want everyone. You might have seen me during this one, and you'll often see me doing this during sprints. I shake my head because the line I just wrote was not good, but it is written. It can be polished, or it can be changed, or it can be removed later. I'm making forward progress, and Melina, you made forward progress too. Proud of you for that one. Ginger, no problem picking up after 10 days of IRL stuff and editing from where I left off. I love that because picking up a project after you've been gone from it for a while can be difficult. And I'm writing my novel only during our writing sprints, only on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Right. And so the Tuesday writing sprint can be very tough to get into. I often have to spend time going over what I wrote, my notes for what's coming up, and just get in the zone. Aaron's got 50 pages left. I love that. You're making great progress. And yeah, NJ, some sage wisdom here. You can edit a bad page, but you can't edit a blank one. Susan got 248. And Read for me took a trial by fire of sorts to handle horror movies. My friend sat me down, forced me to watch Evil Dead and Alien back to back. You know, the new Evil Dead movies, I don't want to co-opt our writing sprints into just horror conversations, but that's what I'm writing, and that's what we were talking about before. The new Evil Dead movies, especially the first one, Evil Dead, not Evil Dead Rise, scared me. Like, I saw it in theaters late at night with a friend after our shift at work. I had a lot of trouble sleeping. It was spooky. Melina, well, I'm glad that you were able to join us. That's fantastic. And congrats on finishing your first sprint. Let us know what you're writing. And last saying, you might need to move some scenes around in your novel, and that's totally okay. That happens. But similar to, you can't edit a blank page. You can't move scenes around that don't exist, right? So I think it's a lot of times different writers have different approaches to things, right? But my approach is often get the story out, do the planning, get the story out, and then go and make it better. Some people will do the planning, write the story, backtrack, make it better, then keep writing, backtrack, make it better, keep writing. Some people will skip most of the planning, just write it, and then fill those holes afterwards. But I'm very much a proponent of get that story written, fix it after. The first Evil Dead got me, David saying. I was 14 and 3 in the morning. Oh, Melina, dark romance retelling of Snow White. I love that. And now Kara has the Hex Girl song stuck in my head. If I was any more talented at it, I would sing it all for you, but I'm going to spare us all the trouble with that. All right, 5 seconds before a sprint starts, I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to stick writing. I'll see you all in 20 minutes. Oh, I always forget about the microphone when I have it like this. All right, everybody, that is our second 20-minute sprint done. I forgot to say, Melina, since it's your first time, I should have told you. My apologies for this. But when it comes to our writing sprints, we have our 3-minute sessions and they're 3 different links, so 3 different clients. And as I think Renee pointed out here, yeah, you want to copy and paste because the sprint save your words for 24 hours. So every link, every instance will save your word to that device that you're writing on for 24 hours. So what I like to do, if I go, and I forgot to do this myself, so it works here. This is my first sprint. And so what I'll do is I'll select it all and I will copy, and then I'm going to go to our third sprint, and I'll share the link for this one in a moment. I'm going to paste it in, and you'll see that that has a total word count for me, but doesn't reflect my current word count because I put it in before the sprint started. And then, that total word count, but doesn't affect the current word count. And then if I go to the one that we just finished, which I know looks shockingly like the first one, because it's just some different words, but I can copy those and then put it over here. And then, yeah, so let me grab the link for the third sprint here. So that's what I like to do. I like to pull them all into the last one, and then I can copy them out of there. So sorry for not letting you know about that before, because that's that's a big thing. Once you're like, where my words go? All right, let me do that, and let's see how everybody did. B is saying, those big, heavy blast doors you see in the shows when a nuclear attack is going to happen. It's how my brain feels today. It slammed the doors and not opening back up. That's an important thing about motivation and writing. Even though we have these sprints every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even though a lot of us show up every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're not going to write the same amount every time you show up. You're not going to have the same motivation every time you sit down to write. Sometimes you'll write 500 words. Sometimes you'll write 5 words. Right. But the fact that you showed up, you tried to write, that's what we're going to count as the win. So if you can't get any more, B, then, I'll take that win for you, even if you don't accept it. Shelly got 388, David 358, Emily 249. Some research time is flying today. I agree. Renee got 117, Erica 303 in revisions. Melina got 335, even despite all the shenanigans at the beginning. Great job. Alaska got 457. Reed, despite having to watch lunch or to eat lunch before it gets cold, managed 327. I love that. And Susan got distracted, but 133 total. Great job, everybody. You're still putting in the work, and I love it. How much left? I asked this. Who was it that I asked before? It was Aaron, right? I think I asked Aaron before how much was left in your project. But for everyone else, how much is left in your current project that you're working on, your first draft or your revisions that you're working on? For me, I'm thinking I'm in like the last 20% of it. I think I'm pretty close to being done. NJ, any advice on inspiring kids to write over spring break? I don't get to see my students for 2 weeks. Well, I mean, that's tough because I mostly work with adults. There's always the give them a task to accomplish thing. And call it homework, call it whatever you want to call it, but give them a task to accomplish, but make it fun. Don't make it feel like work. And if they're inspired to be writing, then they're probably writing already. Tell them to join us for writing sprints. That's something that can get them encouraged and let them see how other people are doing it as well. But I don't know. I know Abby was a high school teacher or middle grade teacher at some point in her life, so I'll turn to her and I'll ask my better half, who's an elementary school teacher. So I'll ask them what their thoughts are on getting that, and we'll get some info for you tomorrow. Renee, I just finished chapter 7 of your first revision. I have like 24 more chapters, and then I can move on from this step. I love that. Outside of the sprints, I'm working on revisions for my novella that we wrote in November. And I'm just going through and brushing up the prose, sort of like a line edit revision, but everything substantively, everything structurally that I want is in there. So it's just making it pretty. So I'm in the same boat. Anyway, Here, we have our third sprint. It's starting. We got 20 minutes, then we'll have some chatting time at the end. I'll talk to you all in 20 minutes. Bye for now. Alrighty. That is our third and final sprint of the day done. So let me make my face nice and big here and pause my music. And yeah, so just a reminder that everything that you write in wordsprints.org will save on the device that you write it on for 24 hours at that link. So make sure you take that and you go and you paste it somewhere. That really saved my butt one time when I was doing a sprint and the power went out. I thought I lost everything, but no, I was able to go in and get it. How'd we do? Shelly got 479, David 477, and Melina 398. Awesome. Reed 373. Last 529. NJ, thank you for coming to the sprints, and thank everybody for coming to the sprints. You know, I'm excited because I get a chance to write my work. Obviously, that's what I love to do, but it's awesome hanging out with all of you and hearing about your progress and hearing about what you're working on. That's what makes it the most fun for me. So thank you. Erica finished revising the chapter with 228 and made it a new important herb. That's fantastic. I love that. Susan got 205. Melina a total of 1141. Erica saying Doug is the best. Well, thank you. I'll hold that with me for the rest of the day. Yeah, so let me just do a quick glance at what we have coming up so that I can shamelessly promote some of our other events. It's a bit of a lighter week this week. We have our sprints tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern again. Hank will be leading those ones for you all. I'd be hanging out in the chat, and we'll see. On Friday, I do believe it's this Friday, in W Campus or the Storycraft Cafe, Abby's going to be having a community-only coffee chat hangout session kind of thing. So it won't be streamed here on YouTube. It will only be streamed over at the W Campus. And that you can have your camera on if you want. You can leave it off if you want, but it's just going to be hanging out, talking about writing, and drinking your warm beverages. Just a very casual, very chill hangout. So that's going to be, I'll drop the link for that. Actually, let me see if I can get the link for the event itself. The community coffee hour is what she's calling it. And I think this link should get you there. Emily saying research and printing the checklist for vibes only read. Ooh, I love that. Make sure to make your revision plan with that course. If you haven't taken it yet, it is over at W Campus or our community, the Storycraft Cafe. That rebranding is ongoing, so I'll be excited once I can only call it one thing. And last thing, I write my project and just follow the countdown on the sprint page. I also love that. And honestly, if I wasn't doing it on screen here, that's how I would be doing it too. I'd be writing it in Dabble and just doing it in sessions with all of you. And we got 1298, just shy of 1300 for the day. That's fantastic. Great job. Great job. So yeah, so that is it for me. I think that's the only stuff we have going on for the rest of this week. The sprints tomorrow, the coffee hour on Friday, and then next week we're back to our regularly scheduled sprints as per normal. We have a couple other things in there, but we'll see on Tuesday before that all happens. Friendly reminder, if you could subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up. If you wrote a single word today, then give me a thumbs up. That's the that's the exchange I'm asking for. Or if you deleted a word, if you're editing, I'd appreciate that. Otherwise, I really appreciate everybody being here with me, writing your words, writing alongside me. We're that much closer to finishing our draft or our revisions of what we're working on. And I'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.